In this video, we will create user's profile page user interface. We're going to implement the avatar, cover, several tabs for the user information, but we're going to only do user interface right now. All the functionalities will be implemented in later lessons. Now let's commit this navbar edition. So we modified the authenticated layout and we use that in the home page. Okay, so use authenticated layout on home page to display navbar. Okay, that's good. Now let's start working on the user profile page, because this profile page is right now only for modifying the personal information like name, username, email, and probably updating the password. But the user profile page in the social media website is something like this. So the username in this case is John Smith. So here we're going to have like either directly John Smith here, or maybe u/John Smith, which indicates that this is the user profile page. And on this page, we're going to have everything associated to that user, like the cover image, the avatar, the profile information, as well the posts and followings and followers, and basically everything related to that user. So now let's try to implement the layout of this page, and then maybe we can obviously implement the backend side to output to update the profile information, or to update the cover and avatar and things like that. Okay, so this is the profile page. Let's go to first of all, when we click on the profile, this goes to the profile page, which is I think correct. We can have that. However, we can redirect user to the following URL. And if the profile page belongs to the currently authenticated user, then we will allow modifications. Okay, so let's try to do like this. I'm going to close everything now and only leave this web PHP. And we're going to access the profile page. And that profile page, by the way, does not need to be restricted to only authenticated users. So I will be able to access someone else's profile page as well. Obviously, in like real social media websites, the profile page might be private or might be public. Okay, in this case, we can implement this as a public profile page. If you know the username in the social media website of a particular user, you can access to its profile page and see what posts they have submitted. But then we can easily change that into that user will decide he wants the profile page to be public or private, meaning that only their followers or followings, basically their followings probably, will be able to access the profile page, or only users who are in the same group will be able to access the same thing, and so on. Okay, but right now, speaking about the Twitter, if we take the Twitter, every tweet is basically public on a Twitter. Basically, it's not called Twitter anymore, it's called X. So every post, every tweet inside the X is basically public once you submit it. So we are doing something similar, actually. We're going to have public profile pages. All right. Enough speaking. Let's duplicate this route, and it will be you, and then we're going to have the username. Okay, so that's going to be username. It's not going to be home controller. I need to create different, or I already have this profile controller. So I will use profile controller here, and I will use the index method, which right now is not available in the profile controller. Okay, so then this URL doesn't need any middleware, and it should be called just profile. So right now we have profile edit, profile update, and profile destroy. I'm going to create just profile, and I probably don't need these URLs. Maybe I need. I don't know. I'll just comment this at the very moment. Okay, now we have this profile page. Now let's go to this authenticated layout. We should find where's the profile section. Here's the profile section. And this goes into profile edit. Then we have the logout here. So we're going to redirect the user to the profile, but we're going to provide the username. Okay, username will be, we have this page props auth user, and this user will have the username. So we can pass dot user username here. This is the profile page. Okay, let's access to the home page. We have some sort of error, and let's inspect the console and have a look. Profile edit is not in the root list. Okay, that's correct. Profile edit is not in the profile.edit. This is the responsive nav link, which we decided to remove. So here is the href, and we're going to do the same thing on this responsive. Here we will not have profile edit here. Okay, reload the page. Cool. I click on the profile, and okay, profile controller index doesn't exist. That's already good. We open profile controller, and I'm going to define public function index. We are going to get we're going to get the username right here, but actually I think we can map the user entity to the username into the user. Actually, I need to remember certain thing from the Laravel documentation. So Laravel routing. Okay, so what I want is that in this web PHP I have this username, but actually that should turn into user. Maybe it is something like this. Let me actually just try to accept a user here, which will give me that user. And if I just, let me actually do dd here and print my user. Is this the one what I remember if I go into profile page? I think this is it. If we go into, where are attributes? Table null. Okay, this is not. We don't have the actual user. Okay, I need to remember the binding section. Route model binding. This is what I want. The user will be bound into the user, but this will search by the primary key of that user. What I want to bind post by slug. So we need to do it user by username. I think this is it. Now, here we will get the user, which will be queried by username. Go to profile page, and we see table, and we see attributes, and this is my user profile, user object. This is cool. Okay, so now we have a user, and we need to render that user page. And I think we don't need this separate edit. That's going to be our profile page. However, if we are accessing that as someone else, it will just give the information, but we will have the possibility to edit it later as well. I'm going to remove this. I don't need that. I'll put this here. Profile. Let's call this profile view. Then we have user here. and we have the session status. Now let's go into profile folder, into resources, JS, pages, profile, and we have edit, which I'm going to rename and call this view. Now let's check this. Click on profile. We are on the profile view page, which I am going to adjust. Here we have the actual profile form. Okay, let me actually rename this into maybe edit. Let's rename this back into an edit. And I'm going to define new component, and I'm going to call this view with composition API. Okay, and just like I'm accepting the props must verify email and status here, and I also should have the user information, update profile information form, user, use page, props, auth user. So this is how we're going to get the user. I'm going to get the user in my view inside scripts. Okay, I have the user, and I'm going to define my layout here, but let me actually print my user first. This is my user, and here we see the user. Okay, cool. So now let's start working here. We're going to have the main container, then we're going to have the avatar, we're going to have the cover and avatar, and we are going to have then tabs. Okay, let's start with markup first, and that's going to be the section for avatar. Inside there, I'm going to have an image for, sorry, first we're going to have the cover. So that's going to be cover. I'm going to have another div for avatar, and then we're going to have tabs. For tabs, I'm going to use the headless UI. We should have tabs here. We are in the vue.js, so these are the tabs. I will go into code, and so these are the whole templates, and it contains also JavaScript, which is, wait, what is this? The recent. We have popular, trending, and what's the actual result? Okay. We have the tab group and tab list, and then each tab. Let me actually copy this, and on this view, let me actually paste this here. So now we have two script tags, and I'm going to leave this one and delete mine. No, this is not my script tags. This is my, and I'm going to get this use page from my script tag, delete my script tag, and put this here. Now I have the user, and I have the template as well. Here I have the tab group. Okay, let me actually delete my template as well. Let's have a look. Okay, so here I have tabs. Fine. I'm going to create one div, and that div should have class container margin x auto. Okay, and let's give it bg gray 200 as well, just to make sure that it is in the very center. And I'm going to put everything inside that container. Hold on, yes. Okay, cool. Let's reload. Okay, that doesn't seem to be working, isn't it? The container does not seem to be working. What if I give this one width of 1000 pixel? Okay, am I doing something wrong? If I modify this, it actually gets updated. If I give this one like bg red 500, this gets updated. Okay, this one has w full. What if I remove this completely? Okay, I'm going to inspect this and see what's the problem with that. W100 pixel. The W100 pixel doesn't seem to be working. Container. Okay, let me search for Tailwind.css container. Yeah, it has actually some width, but do I have this container disabled from the settings? Tailwind config. I use forms plugin. It does not seem that I have this container disabled. So this is centering by default. I can center by default, but this actually should work. Let me restart my Vite server. I almost sure that this is not related to it, but still. Huh. It was related. It was related. Good lesson. Whenever we create new vue.js file, I know that this Vite server needs to be reloaded, but when I was modifying something here, the Vite server was just triggering and it was calling this update. That's why I got confused. If it was triggering update, something was working, but something didn't work. So that's why I got confused. Anyway, we have this container. We can remove this PG grade 200. And what we need is now the cover area. For the cover, let me just grab some cover image, any of those cover images. Okay, let's get this one. Open in a new tab. Okay, this is the tab group, and I'm going to create an image which will have source, and this is my cover. However, there should be certain height on this cover. Let's give it h of 200 pixel in square brackets. And it should have contain, like background object cover or object contain. Maybe it's called contain. The Tailwind.css autocompletion doesn't work for some reason in my PHP Storm. It works much better in VS Code, but in PHP Storm it doesn't work. Let me actually check the plugins section. Maybe I need to install something because that will save a lot of time for me. Tailwind.css, it is bundled inside. Okay, I don't know why it is not working actually. But if we go and I will search for cover, background size cover, we can see that bg cover, and we can have bg contain as well. In this case, I think we need cover. Let's give it bg cover. No, it should be contain. Right now I'm struggling a little bit. It seems like I'm struggling, and I'm actually struggling. I need object cover and object contain. Okay, let me try object cover, object contain. I think the image is too small, and probably that is the reason why it doesn't. And where's my container? The container width is also lost. No, it is in the middle. If I inspect that, that image has max width of 100%. Height 200. It should be object cover. But it doesn't. Okay, what if I give this another div, and this is going to be the cover. Okay, so I will give this one age of 200 pixel. Then I will put this image inside there. Now, this image will have full height, 100 pixel, 100%. So that should be age full. And object cover. Does it do anything, this object cover in this case? Well, let's give this one width full. Let's give it full width. Then we have this object cover. What about object contain? If we give it full width, it doesn't matter whether it's going to be object cover or object contain. If we give it full width and height of 200 pixel, then I think it matters. The object contain will display everything, and object cover will crop some of the part and display on the middle part. So this is how we should have it, but I'm going to still leave this container. Maybe I need this in the future. So this is my cover, and I'm going to put now avatar here. Okay, I will put the second image, which is going to be the avatar here as well. But in this case, I'm going to give this one relative position, and this image will be absolute. I'm going to give this one left of 100 pixel. I'm going to give this one bottom of let's give it minus bottom of I'm going to make the whole image to have width and height of 128 pixels. So I will provide here 128 width and 128 pixel height. Okay, and let's grab some avatar from the internet as well. I wanted to have, yeah, this resolution is enough. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's grab this and let's provide source here. Okay, let's check this in the browser. Okay, This is how it looks like. The size is actually not bad, so I'm gonna give it, if I give it like bottom 0, it's gonna go, it has a position absolute. Okay, I'm gonna give this one also height of 200 pixel, because right now it seems like the height of that particular element, the wrapper, is larger, isn't it? No, actually it is. It is 200 pixel height, but why this B0? No, it should be bottom 0. Okay, that's more like it. And if I provide minus bottom 64 pixel, this will bring the half. And also I'm going to give left 64 pixel here. This is how I want it to be. Cool. Okay, that's not bad. The tabs needs to be right here, so I will remove this vertical padding on the tabs, maybe horizontal padding and everything from here, like this. Okay, so these tabs are stretched, so it has a flex, then each tab space 1x, so these are tab controls, so these are, and then we have tab panels and actual content. So we can leave these tab panels, but I'm going to adjust each tab here. Each have width full, and if the tab is selected, there are different classes. Okay, let me remove this width full. Okay, good. I'm going to give this one the tab list, padding left, some large value like 200 pixel padding left. Now the tabs will start here. Okay, this one has background blue, which I'm going to remove. And in terms of the color, let's give it text blue 500. Okay, there are some CSS classes on the text right here. If it is selected, it has background blue and text blue 700 shadow. If it's not selected, it has text blue. If it is not selected, I'm going to give it text gray 700, and it should be always white. Let's give this one padding x3. Not bad. Let's give this one, what is this rounded XL? Maybe I can remove this rounded XL and space 1x. The flex should be there, text blue 500. Okay, we can remove this. Padding 1, I can remove this. I'll just leave flex. Okay. And I'm going to remove rounded LG. Okay, let's give every tab background white. So the section is actually completely white. It has margin top, which we can leave. Recent popular. So this is outline, which I think we should remove. I'm going to give it, let's actually remove everything, like every CSS class. The more CSS classes there exist, it gets more confusing to work with them. So I'd rather delete all of them and start from scratch. Okay, because this is not what I want exactly, and it causes the confusion. Okay, so this is the outline which I don't want. So I'll provide outline none. Cool. Which one is selected? It should give text blue 500 maybe, and maybe we can give it BG blue 100 as well. BG blue maybe 200. Too much. 100. Why it doesn't work? Maybe it works, but I simply don't see that. What if we give it border 1, the one which is active, and border blue 500? Okay. Okay, I don't like, to be honest. I'm going to give it border bottom. I like that. Border 2 maybe? Border bottom 2. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Cool. Cool. Okay, we're going to provide font or text small. This is even better. Okay, we have this avatar, and we need this navbar as well, by the way. So I should wrap everything in the authenticated layout like this. Okay, so this is the current user information, and then we are on that specific user. Okay, what I am going to show inside the tabs, and maybe I can move this user up. Oops. Too much. Yeah. And minus 48 here as well. Okay. So what information I'm going to show into the user tab. So I want to show the posts. So let me go into categories. So these are categories, but actually I need to have static tabs. And once I have defined the style for my tabs here, I can just copy and paste. This is tab panel, and it should have key. And the index, right? Okay, how does it know which tab is associated, which that tab element is associated to the tab panel? It probably comes through this key. Let me remove any content from the tab panel, and I'm going to remove this v4 as well, and inside key I'm going to type posts. Okay, probably I need to adjust these styles as well, which I'm going to do in a moment. I'm going to remove v4 here, and key will be posts. It does not work. Okay, key was the category, and here we were outputting category. Okay, if I redo this, and here I'm going to output posts. Now we see posts here. What about content? That's going to be post content. Okay, let me add another tab, which will be followers, and another tab here, which will be followers. Okay, so this seems to be working. So I think there is the connection between the tab, this tab, and the tab panel is through indexing. If I replace them, then when I click post, it shows followers, and when I click followers, it shows post content. So it happens through the first tab, connects to the first tab panel here. Okay, now what about the styling and classes? Rounded Excel, I'm going to remove. Background white, okay, we can have that. Ring white, I don't want ring white. Ring offset 2, ring offset blue, I can remove. Focus outline none. Focus ring 2, I can remove all that. And those are straight classes, so I can put them right here directly, like this. And let's do the same thing here, just the key should be followers. Maybe we can show this on a single line. Okay. As template. Do I need this as template? Let's remove it. Key, I can remove the key as well. The selected is something we need. And let's put this tab opening in the same line. Key, okay, we can remove the key as well, because we don't have the loop v4, we don't need actually this key. Posts and followers. What I would do, just give a little bit of shadow to tab panel. Exactly. Now let's define all the tabs what we have. However, I'm repeating this part a lot. What if I move this into its own component? Okay, so I'm in the profile page. I have partials. What if I create here tab item, and in the template I'm going to paste this. We're going to get selected. So let me define props. We're going to get selected to be Boolean, and we're going to have text to be string. Okay, I'm going to use text right here, and selected is already used here. Now, if I go into view, I will use tab item, provide text to be posts, and provide selected to be selected. Now I'm going to grab this and replace the followers here as well. Instead, here I will have followers. And if I duplicate these few more times, actually the first one should be probably about. Okay, so we have about, then we have the posts, then we have followers. We need followings, and we need probably photos as well. Let's save them. About, posts, follow. Okay, what is this outline? I don't need this outline. Into tab item, outline none, focus, outline none. Focus ring 0. Focus ring none. I don't want this. I don't want this black. What just happened? Okay, let me see. Inspect that. This is the button on which it happens. It happens on focus? No. It happens on active, I think. No. Active and focus together? No. It doesn't happen on hover, obviously. It happens on focus, but maybe, hold on. We have two buttons. Nested. The button and another button. Okay, what if I undo things? Do I have again two buttons? Yeah, I still have these two buttons. This is the first. When did I introduce this? Probably that happens not on this button, but on this button. If I do focus, no. Active. Anyway, I'm going to find and fix that. I don't like that. Active and focus on this one. No, it doesn't. Okay, what about active and focus? Focus within. What the hell is this? It is obviously focus. Let's redo everything. On focus, we provide outline none, ring none. Okay, let me try to give it state of focus. Okay, once it has this outline none, it basically is applied on focus as well. However, something else is applied on the focus. Let me first find out if that applies on this element or on this. What if I give that tab CSS class padding of 6? Huge padding. Okay, now this is the outer button and this is the inner button. So obviously these styles are applied on the outer button. This one. Was it applied in the headless UI? Okay, there was something, but not that black. If I go in the code, the tab is template. Aha, this is it. As template does the job. As template. Now it makes more sense. So this as template renders it as a template, not as a button. If I provide as template on all of them, maybe I can remove this. That will render only one button, but that actual tab is used as a template, so it is not rendered. This is it. Now that's more like it. Your support is the most important thing for me. So the single best thing what you can do right now is to pause the video, hit the subscribe and the like button, and continue watching. I would really appreciate. Thank you. About posts. Okay, followers, followings, photos. Yeah, this is good. Okay, now let's start with the about. The about is the place inside which I want to put this edit component. Let me actually duplicate this a few more times. So that's going to be about, and I will use edit. This edit. It accepts two props, must verify email and status. Where are these props used? Okay, let's just pass those two props from this view. Must verify email. Do we have defined here? No, we don't have. So let's define props in our view. We need to find that script and define it here, and I can remove these categories. Now let's find must verify email and status. Then here we have posts, we have followers, we have followings, and we have photos. That should be photos. That should be followings. Do we need key? I think we don't need key as well, because the key is useful when we iterate over our tabs and have for loop there. But right now, I think it is not necessary. Our profile is inserted here. However, that edit has some CSS styles. It is inside its own authenticated layout, which I'm going to remove. Let's remove head as well. Now let's see. Okay, it has some CSS classes. Let's inspect that. This one has height of 1200 pixels, which I think should become scrollable. What if I give this one, we have the container, which is on the full height. This one has a shrinked height. So if I start from the container and give this one full height, h full, and overflow auto, this will create scroll section here. We have this profile information and posts and everything, which makes sense. Maybe now let's reduce some padding. In this edit, we have padding Y12. Let's remove that completely. Let's remove this div. Max width of 7XL. Padding X, padding Y. It has its own shadow. Maybe we can completely remove BG white on the tab panel. We have this profile information now, and maybe we can remove this padding as well, and shadow as well. We have this profile information now. Yeah, I think we can leave it like this. What I don't like is that the posts section is very wide, and I don't want this full width to be for the posts. For about, it makes more sense. Followers and followings maybe makes more sense. However, I'm thinking about reducing the container size completely. So if I go here and instead of container, I will give it like width of 800 pixel. Let's give it 800 pixel. This is more shrinked version, which is good, not bad. Maybe we can reduce it even more. Okay. Now this is the about area, but right now inside the about area we have these input fields and the password update section as well. Here we're going to have post followers for, okay. What I want to do, we also need to write the name of the user. And what I want to do is that probably for this about area, I will just write the user details, the name and few other things. But I will put edit profile button here. Which will either bring up this in the modal, or it can bring new form. Okay, so let's finalize what we are going to do. So post, followers, followings, photos, this is clear. We're going to just render the content there. In the about section, first of all, we need the name of the user and the edit button of the user. So what I will do is just go into the view, and this is the tab group. Okay, I'm thinking, what if I move these tabs down? What if I don't give this absolute? Okay. Instead of left, let's give it margin left. And let's give it margin minus margin top, whatever. Let me give this wrapper BG white. And I'm gonna remove this padding left here. And maybe I can give this one border top 2. It should be border top 2. Maybe 1 will be enough as well. And then in this, hold on, I think I gave this BG white to a wrong element, not this one. I should give to this one, the cover area. Okay, not bad. And I'm going to write the user information here. So let's create one div, and we're going to output the user details. And that's going to be page props user. We have actually user here. So we're going to have user.name, but it should not be here. I want it to be right in this area. So what I will do is just put this avatar image in the div into its own div. And then I'm going to give this one class flex. Okay. And this should have flex of 1. Okay, not bad. Let's give it also padding y3. Let's give it padding 3. I'm going to make this bold, so let's give it h2. And let's give it font bold. Let's give it also text LG. And I'm going to show an edit button as well. Edit profile. That should be button. Do I have button styles? Here I have that. So if I go into edit and find the button, where's button? Primary button. Okay. What if I want a different color? Okay, let's get this button. Let's use this primary button in the view here, primary button. edit profile. Maybe we can move this on the right side. So I will give this one flex as well, and maybe justify between, and put the button. Okay, we need items center as well. Okay, that's good. And let's grab the hero icons as well for pencil. Cool. Paste the icon here. Oops, it's too large. Let's give it 4. Let's give it also margin right 2. Edit profile. Now I am loving this. I'm going to move this avatar even more up. But I'm going to give this one padding 4. Okay, now what if I access this in incognito? What happens? We have many things broken. It should not be broken, and this is what we are going to do as well. Authenticated layout, we read something. We read page props auth user name. Okay. Oh, we need to fix that, and I think right now that we should modify this authenticated layout. First of all, we probably need to rename it and call this just main layout, because it's not going to be only for authenticated. It's going to be for the guest users as well, considering the current scenario, what we have right now. Okay, so we have page props auth user name, which I plan to take in its own variable, just like we are using user here. So I'm going to get this, and in this authenticated layout, I am going to define the user. Then let me search for that part and replace with the user. Replace here, 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 and here. Now, I also want to see what is the user right now whenever we are not authenticated. So if I go in the view, and if I completely remove this authenticated layout, and I will just print user, what will it be? We don't see it here because we need to remove everything. So I'm going to remove this one as well. What's going on? User, probably it is null. That's why we don't see this. So 1 here and 2 here, save, and we see that it is null. It doesn't exist. Okay, let me undo everything. And this view basically should always get the user and will always get the user. Okay, if the user exists, it should get this. So if I remove this authenticated layout again, I should not see this error, which is coming from the view. Actually, if I go in the profile controller, the index is what is responsible for the user. If I dump the user, what will I get? I get the user, which is correct. Okay, then what do I need? Okay, I think in some way the user is passed by default to every view. And that should be coming from up HTTP kernel. Not from the kernel. Well, let's find a couple of providers, because road service provider. No, this is not, but the user is passed. The home is basically the dashboard, which I'm going to change this into /. But the user passed to the view is actually authenticated user. What if I change this and now I'm going to pass user to be my user, which is in the URL? What will happen here? I still have the same issue. The user given is null. Okay, if I give right here user profile or profile user, then I go into view and search for the user. Okay, this is the thing. I use this user from the use page props auth user. I'm actually sure that this user is given somewhere in the inertia default configuration. So let me actually try to find this out. So we're going to learn some new things while building this, right? So inertia, let's go to the inertia.js documentation page. And if I go into pages, okay, shared data. Handle inertia request. This is the middleware. Auth user. Let me actually search for this handle inertia requests, which has share auth user. This is exactly what I expected. And that's coming from the middleware. Okay, so it is sharing the auth user data to every vue.js component, which is not bad. What we need to do in our case, instead of taking this from use page props auth user, we are gonna simply accept this user right here. Okay, and we can call this auth user just in case if we need that. But that user will have type of object. Now let's have a look. Let's get this. Actually, we have an error. Let's open developer tools. Okay, user.name. Okay, user. Are we passing this user? No, we are not passing. Now we are passing user. Now we see this rendered nicely. If I copy the URL and open right now in incognito, it doesn't work because in the update profile information form, we have this issue, which makes sense. From view, we are rendering this edit, which is for the current user, which is something we should not probably be rendering. So what I will do is just hide the tab if the authenticated user is not the one whose profile page is visited right now. Basically, if I am visiting my profile page, only in this case I will show this about tab. Basically, there is nothing in the about at the moment. It is just the profile information, first name, last name, username, email, and update password section and delete account, which obviously is only for me, not for someone else. Okay. And I don't have that much information about the user, such as the working experience or education or things like that. If I would have all that, which probably needed to be public, I would display that information. But right now, I'm just going to hide it. So now I have in this component, I have two variables. First of all, let me return this authenticated layout. Authenticated layout is something we need here. Okay, we're gonna have a couple of errors, but I'm gonna fix them. Get this open incognito, reload the page. The first error is coming from the authenticated layout. Now let's fix that. Let's go into authenticated layout, and this user is the auth user. So I will call this auth user. Now let's search for user dot. This is the place where username is outputted. Settings drop down. I don't want this button to be rendered, or maybe this span even to be rendered, or maybe this template even to be rendered, or maybe even this drop-down should not be rendered. There's even upper elements like this div or this div. What should be rendered is probably a link to a login page. So what I would do is just if auth user exists, then we display that. And I'm going to also change this user dot into auth user dot. Replace here, 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 and here. Okay, now we hide that drop down. Let's find other places where we have auth user dot. So this is the first place on which we added vif. This is second, which is inside our drop down. So we have vif. Another place is right here. This is the responsive settings options. This needs to be hidden. This needs to be hidden. So probably we need to put this inside template, where if auth user exists, then we render them. I'm going to write else as well. Template. In else, I'm going to show login button. Just a text right now. Okay, and I think we need this else here as well. Let's create div velse login button. Now let's reload the page. There's no error in this authenticated layout. We only see update profile information form, which makes sense. And if we go, let me actually close every other file just to make the navigation easier. Primary button, handle inertia requests, authenticated layout. Okay, let's move this profile here, this view. And I want to completely hide the tab. So if auth user, if the user is authenticated, and if auth user.id is the same as user.id, then I'm authenticated and I'm the same user which profile is opened right now. So let me get this and add right here. Okay. Now look at this. Now this is incognito mode, and we see the current user details. We see a login button here, which actually needs to be an actual login button. We should not see this edit profile, obviously. So if I search for edit profile, this needs to be hidden. If auth user, actually, I need to write the same if right now, second time, if auth user dot id equals blah blah blah. So this one, I'm going to get this and create computed property called is my profile. Okay, so if this is my profile, then I'm going to show the edit form. If this is my profile, I'm going to show the tab, and let's create this computed property here. Const is my profile equals computed, passing a function and returning if auth user exists, actually if auth user dot value exists, and if auth user dot value id equals to user dot id. It should be const props user id, props user id. Let's use 3 equality here. Here's my profile. Now let's have a look. The about tab is hidden. Actually, we did something wrong. Let me change this return here, and I'm going to just type auth user dot value and props user. Let's open the console, go into info, auth user dot value. Auth user actually exists, isn't it? It is strange. Why auth user? Okay, it doesn't need value, it should be just auth user. That was the reason. If auth user, so the value is necessary on the refs. That's the thing. My mistake. Okay, now let's have a look. Okay, here we go. We see about, because I am the authenticated user. And in the incognito mode, I don't see about. And if I go in the view and go into edit profile and add the if here is my profile, then I'm going to show this edit profile. I'm going to save that, and I don't see this edit profile button. Okay, now let's link this login button to a proper button. In this authenticated layout, that should be router. Actually, that should be link. And inside href, we are going to provide route. Actually, how we are doing this, redirect to the profile. Here we do route profile, and we provide it. Okay, so this is how we're going to do we're gonna have login, and I think that's gonna be it. Login here. That goes to the login page. Nice. This is incognito. Let's close incognito. Come here and we see this drop down. Okay, awesome. So we defined the user profile page layout with edit profile button here. This button doesn't actually do anything. We just spend time on the layout so far, and we need possibility also buttons to update the cover image and update the avatar, or edit the entire profile details.